Hey everybody, welcome to our next Coach's Corner. So for the next 4 weeks, we're going to talk about the basics of an exercise plan, also known as training plans. And these videos are mostly geared towards beginner exercisers, but they can also apply to people who've been doing it for a while. But we do know that we have some people who come to our gym anyway, who might not really understand what a training program is or an exercise plan. So we'd like to give them a little bit of kind of heads up on what it is, how to create one, and then how to revise them. So, Brian, can you tell us what an exercise plan is?
So an exercise plan or an exercise program or a training plan or training program, it's all basically pretty much the same thing, right? It is something that you've laid out that you are going to try to follow to reach your goals. We'll say your goal is to get ready for competition. So you're going to have chosen all the exercises, all the sets and reps, as well as the spacing out of your workouts.
It's like frequency.
Yeah, the frequencies,
okay.
Yep. It's generally derived based off from the equipment you have or what your goals are. So if you didn't have any equipment, you'd have to find something else, and that'd all be in your training program or training plan. There is no real difference between a plan, a program, or training or exercise. It's all the same thing, right?
Yeah.
It's all reaching towards that end goal. It all just depends on, unfortunately, what the buzzword is for that time of the year, or who you're working with, if you're doing it yourself.
So kind of like if you're a general exerciser, you might hear an exercise plan or exercise program. But if you're somebody into sport, you might hear more of a training plan or a training program. Is that right?
Yeah, that's
okay.
a pretty good way to set it. Usually if you're, I like that, that's good. It's
okay.
a much easier way to kind of categorize it.
So I know you said, if you have a competition coming up, you're going to have things done a certain way. Now, what about those general exercisers who just want to come in and maybe their goal is general fitness or to lose weight or to gain muscle mass or lose body fat?
So those are goals. Taking those goals into account, you're going to base your exercise program or your training plan around those specific goals to meet those requirements that you might have. Easiest way to think about it, overall, it's like the blueprints, right? You've got you have an end result in mind, so you're making your blueprints based off from that. They get updated, they get constantly changed, scribbled and erased and redrawn back in, and sometimes people like to color pretty crayons with them.
That would be you. He's a Marine, though he eats them, so we have to hide them sometimes.
Sometimes.
What's your favorite color to eat?
Red.
Red.
Always red.
Always red. So let me kind of recap this. A person who just wants to exercise can still have a plan or a program. They don't just have to come into the gym and be like, I'm just going to work out whatever's here today.
Absolutely. If you think about it this way, if you go to a grocery store and you're hungry, you just grab a whole bunch of shit, right? You're hungry, you're looking for something.
Usually chocolate.
Just grab whatever comes up and what looks good, right? A plan or a program will help you set things in stone, or set things in advance, so you're not just grabbing whatever comes into mind there. If you're supposed to try to bring your squat up, you're not going to go in and do a whole bunch of benching to bring your squat up, because they don't mesh well together.
Yeah. So, you can go in and do that, but you're probably not getting as good a result as if you were to come up with a plan.
Yep.
Okay. So that would be the benefit of it, is you're going to be more likely to hit your goals if you have an exercise plan.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. So how would a person go about making an exercise plan? I don't want to get too much in detail because we're going to really get into depth with that the next couple weeks. But in general, what would be the steps?
In general, your commitment to what you want to do. So if you want to work out for 1 day a week, you wouldn't want to make a plan that's going to take 4 days a week, right? So take into account all your different abilities. So your time, your commitment level, and then your goal as a whole. And throw it down on paper and then look at that, and then you'll set out your actual planning process of what needs to be addressed to reach those goals.
Okay, so it's kind of funny, and I think you guys know where I'm going with this. It sounds like if you took the SMART goals concept and you started that, eventually you would kind of go all the way down through the process of creating an exercise plan if you did a SMART goals kind of format.
The SMART goal format would definitely lay the base for the plans, and then it would also help you adjust your goals and help you make sure that you're actually reaching your goal. And if you're not, what do you have to do to change it to be able to reach your goals?
That makes sense. So for this week, what I want you guys to do, and I know we're doing things a little differently, but I want you to go ahead and think about what Ryan was talking about with what your goal is, how often you can work out, and maybe what equipment you have. And then that way next week when we start working on how to create your plan, you have those answers, so as you're following along you can fill in the blanks. If you need to, the goal setting worksheet is in our previous coaches corner, or you can reach out to us and we'll send it to you for free.
Even if you're doing just general fitness, set a goal.
Yeah.
So that way you have something to work towards and something to be like, hey, look, I'm making progress.
Yeah, that's the truth. And if you have goals, you're more likely to follow through. So if you're a person that struggles with consistency and getting in the gym or any type of activity, having that goal set out is going to help you get in here or wherever you're going to work out and get it done. And that way you can reach your goals.
Absolutely.
Do you have anything else you want to say?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. And next week, don't forget, do your homework. I'm going to check in with you.
And like and subscribe.
Bye.